I think all my life has been on security matters. After elections in '94, I was a member of the legislature in KZN, and I was the first chair of the Safety and Security Portfolio Committee in that province. And I held other positions as chair of chairs and all that, but the main one was that I was a chair of the Safety and Security Portfolio Committee. That was a province which was very violent and a lot of turbulence even after elections. I'm sure the members that come from that province will remember that. When the violence, otherwise mainly political violence, subsided nationally, in KZN did not. There were still some killings. The major killing was on the 25th December 1995. Remember, we've gone for election in '94. In a place called Shoba Shobane, when 19 people were killed on the 25th of December. I'm sure everybody knows what is the 25th of December. So violence went on at a mass level, but later it got a little bit an organized kind of violence. So when one became the National Commissioner, had to look at the mandate of the Constitution, what you're supposed to do is to try and keep South Africans safe and do things in a way that they're supposed to put South Africans first and put them safe and all that. So I was approached to be a National Commissioner of the South African Police. I must say, I did not agree initially. I did not like it. I was comfortable because I was an MSc in KZN by that time, MSc of Security and Transport. So for me, province was nice and comfortable. I was not very much keen to go national. I remember when I was approached by the president, which I think is his constitutional prerogative to appoint national commissioners, I said to him, Baba, I'm not very keen, but unless you say you are instructing me, so I'll do it. And he said, I'm instructing you. I said, okay, then I'll take the instruction. And I became then the National Commissioner. I think it was June 2009.
Who was then Minister of Police?
The Minister of Police was Mthethwa, the late Mthethwa. May his soul rest in peace. And then I went to be introduced. I was supposed to start 3 months earlier, but Bheki, who was the National Commissioner, had not been told, and the statute says you must be told 3 months before if you are not going to be appointed again as a National Commissioner. So that's what delayed my appointment, that it came in July 2009. So as it came, I was introduced in Mahlambandlovu. All generals were invited. You could see that there was some shock in some other generals that who is this outcomer who comes here when they're on general. But one adapted quite quick, and the working relationship with all the generals was very cordial, with except a few. Fortunately, we had a target, we had a focus to work towards. That was World Cup 2010. So we had a very little time to do other things, but we had to make sure that 2010 is safe. One worked with everybody that found there, especially in the headquarters where Masimula would be part of them. General Brace was there, General Libya was there, General Cruiser was there, and General Mafume was there. I guess she's Shivambu now. Were there. So General Hlela from Eastern Cape. These generals you find there, they were from different disciplines of policing. They were from Bantustans and from the original SAPF, South African Police Force. They've been put together mostly by Bheki Cele, and that's why you've got 2 days to celebrate in the South African Police. It's the first Sunday of September, where you remember all the fallen heroes, especially those that have fallen in the line of duty. And then you have the 27th of January, where you celebrate the finding of the South African Police Service from the force. So you could see that there were still tendencies of where people come from and all that, but we had a project to work on, which made life much easier. Working towards 2010.
Was then Brigadier Mkhwanazi, was he also part of your team?
Brigadier Mkhwanazi was quite a junior at the time, as you say, Brigadier. But for some reason, I found myself working quite close with him. In 2010, when I think the World Cup was supposed to start on the 9th of June, if I'm not mistaken. When I was in PE, launching the TROT, known as Amabaret, I was phoned by the president of SAFA, Danny Jordan, to say that there is a crisis coming on. And then can I see you with immediate effect? So I know that we'll be discussing immediate a long time.
Yes, and did you meet him immediately or some months afterwards?
So he said, "Can I see you immediately?" So I saw him that day, that immediately, or that day when I saw him. I flew from PE straight to OR. I find him seated there with Valk. I forget his first name. Valk was the Secretary General of FIFA.
Jerome Valk.
There was a problem. This was around March now. There was a problem that the World Cup is being taken away from South Africa. There was a big clash between Valk and FIFA President Blatter to say, you said the cup must go to South Africa, and there is a lot of crime in South Africa. There were 2 countries that they said they were ready to host. That was Australia and Germany. Remember, Germany had hosted it previously. So we spoke with President to say, how can we save the World Cup? It was on the score that I assembled the team of generals and the police, and we went to Zurich to make the president. To be honest, the nation does not know that South African Police Service saved 2010. Without that meeting, without us going to Zurich and making presentation, with all participating countries, sometimes with their heads of security, it took us a long time. General Praise made a good presentation. Among those, most of them were generals, except 3 that were brigadiers. Mkhwanazi was part of that. Mkhwanazi had come in because he was responsible for ORS. This is a response services, which puts together all special services, special forces of the South African Police. Is your special task team. Now it will be NIU. There are CATs under there, and there are TROT. That time, there was no TROT, and I think there were no CATs. Specifically, it was Special Task Force and NIU. Then Mkhwanazi was part of that. And for some reason, we worked quite closely with him. I'll come back what happened as he becomes the first or the acting National Commissioner. So we made the presentation there. All countries were saying, are not going to go to South Africa. The people that were leading that rebel were British. And clearly, if British could not come to the World Cup in South Africa, many people were going to join them. until at the later stage we were supported by Brazil and all that. And Germany was very vocal to say we are ready. And remember, they have launched it previously. So from that meeting, fortunately, there was a meeting, a General Assembly of Interpol in Lens, in France. So we had to fly there to convince the Interpol to say it's safe to come to South Africa, so that the campaign of safety and coming to South Africa is not just pushed by South Africans alone, but is also pushed by Interpol. That's how then we managed to work on the 2010 coming to South Africa. So that's why I'm saying that we had a project to work on, so we had not much time of differences among and between ourselves as officials in that particular time. And finally, 2010 did come in South Africa.
Yeah.